Hello YouTube, Melloway and Matt here, back for some more Zero Deck profiles, and we are back. This time we're finally starting with some of the Set 2 stuff, and we are here with Best Girl. For those that have known me for a long time, I love Pacifica. Pacifica has always been one of my favourite decks in G, B, and obviously Zero as well. So, obviously Bermuda got the update in Set 2 with some strides. And obviously that also then in turn buffed Pacifica a little bit. We didn't get the Pacifica Stride yet, so obviously there will be more updates for this deck down the line. But let's have a look over this Pacifica list and see some games. So start off with the list. Alright, we start off at the beginning with the grade 0. And we have got Jizuku grade 0 starter, so her skill is Counter Blast 1, Chuck her in Soul, and search top 5 for a grade 3. The reason we do this is because with this new version of the list, we need to ideally be doing Break Ride into Eternal Idol, so the Break Ride is a very important part of the deck. We do need to find it as soon as possible. Then we're going to do grade 3s next. We'll start off with obvious girl herself, Eternal Idol Pacifica. Her skill is Limit Break 4. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, you can Counter Blast 2 and bounce up to 2 of your rear guards. Search your deck for 1 card from your deck and call it to a rear guard circle. So obviously this is a multi-attack for the deck. You're bouncing you've attacked your 2 rear guards. You can then bounce 1 of them and call straight from the deck. The reason bouncing 2, however, is key is because of the other Pacifica. This is Planet Idol Pacifica. Her skill is Limit Break 4. When this unit is rode upon, your Vanguard gains power plus 10,000 and the skill of when one of your rear guards is bounced back to your hand, you can search your deck for any card and call it to rear guard circle. So obviously, bouncing 2 with Eternal Idol Pacifica lets you call 2 front row rear guards. So you're getting 5 attacks from the deck, which is really strong. Her other skill is Soul. You can put a top Idol Pacifica from your rear guard into your Soul. You can then bounce this card back to your hand. Bounce one of your rear guards. Well, so obviously she'd in turn activate her own rear guard skill, but we don't use top Idol Pacifica, so that skill is actually irrelevant for us. Because our one-off grade 3 we're actually running is Miracle Voice Loris. The reason we run this is because obviously we've got the Stride fodders, so we can actually search for this if we have literally got no grade 3s in hand, so we can still ride, stride, do stuff. Loris' skill is GB2. When this unit is placed into Harmony, you can then choose 2 of your rear guards, gets power, they get power plus 5,000, and this unit then gains a crit. And her second skill is when she's strode upon, you can Counter Blast 1, choose one of your rear guards, bounce it back to hand, and then you draw a card. She obviously has the Harmony skill herself, but Harmony is when this unit is when another unit is placed into the column of this card, both then go into Harmony state. If one of those rear guards then leaves this field, Harmony state is then broken. So obviously with her being the Vanguard, you need to put a booster behind her to activate said Harmony skill. So you do have to be careful with it. But honestly, it's a really good card. Grade 2s, we do run 4 copies, 2 black and 2 white of the 12k Pacifica attacker. The reason we run this is because obviously we've got Yarmuk, so this plus Yarmuk makes a nice 21k column, really good card. We then run 5 in combination of Emil and the Quancy. Quancy we'll start with is when it's bounced, field back to hand, Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1, and draw a card, and also has the resist ability. The reason why I've grouped it with Emil is the same again with resist, and when it's bounced, Counter Blast 1, draw a card. So what you're doing with the difference is you're changing a Soul Blast to this being GB locked. So both are really good. You can mix and match the numbers to how your preference goes, but anti-retire, anti-targeting, very good in the format we are currently in. And then the last grade 2 we run is honestly the best card Bermuda gets for a long while, Pika. Pika's skill is Generation Break 1. When this unit attacks a Vanguard whilst boosted, Counter Blast 1, choose one of your rear guards not called Speaker, and bounce it back to your hand. Then choose 1 card from your hand, call it to rear guard circle, it gets power plus 3,000. If you remember we talked about the 5 attacks that Pacifica gets, this can actually turn Pacifica into a 6/7 attack. Because, yes, whilst you can't bounce a speaker, it doesn't stop you not calling a speaker. If they're on 5, you can swing rear guard, swing with Vanguard, bounce 2, call a speaker from deck, call something else from deck, attack with the other thing that's not been played yet, swing with this speaker boosted, kill, bounce, call another speaker from hand, swing in with that boosted, bounce the booster, call over the speaker. You get a lot of attacks from the deck, which is... It does become counterblast heavy, so it's why we do run 3 copies of the Soul Blast 2 to countercharge 2, and we do also run 4 copies of the countercharging PGs. I had been testing around originally with the Roan engine, but I found you were then very restricted on what you could and couldn't do. Yes, we now do not have a good grade 2 turn because we've got no ideal rides, but I found that this actually works better than the Duo engine. We do then run 4 copies of Stride Fodder, so these are honestly most decks going forward will be running 4 Stride Fodders and 4 copies of the countercharging PG, because those were just generic staples throughout the whole of G, unless you are a xenophobic archetype that needs specifically named Gs. Obviously, the Stride Fodder does have the skill of when it's placed on rearguard circle, discard a card, search your deck for a Miracle Voice Loris. Really good. Why we run the 1 copy of Loris in case we don't actually manage to find a grade 3. Last 2 cards we run is 2 copies of Yarmuk, who's got the once per turn skill of when one of your rear guards is bounced back to your hand, this unit gets power plus 3000. The reason why this has been hard once per turn is because if you know Bermudas, they can bounce like no tomorrow, so this could have been problems for 0. It could have gained 15k, 18k, it could have gone stupidly big with it. But that is it for the main deck. We're just going to do the strides. I do have 1 copy of Mir that's just here as a flex spot. The reason this is because I've only actually managed to pull 3 Somnis so far. I would recommend running 4 Somnis, but till then I just wanted to put the Mir in instead of actually running a Cray Elemental. So we're going to talk about Somni. We shall talk about her first, because she is going to be the first stride you'd ever do in the deck. Her skill is Vanguard Circle. When his unit attack hits a Vanguard, you can choose one of your rear guards, bounce it back to hand, pull a card from hand to rearguard circle, and it gets power plus 3000. Obviously, it's the start of the multi-attack, and you can use it in combination with Yarmuk, make a 21k column minimum. So you do get scaling columns with this deck really nice, which is good for the deck. Then the other stride is the big bad boss unit, the one we all know and love, Ghoul Etoile Olivia. Olivia's skill is Generation Break 2, Counterblast 1 and Persona Flip. When this unit attacks, you can then choose any number of your rear guards. If you choose 3 with all 3 units or more, and they all have different names, bounce them back to hand. Sorry, no, you bounce them all back to hand, the ones you select. Then if you choose 3 or more, and they all have different names, you can then choose 2 cards from your hand, call them to separate rows, and then this unit gains +1 critical. Obviously, another multi-attack enabler. You ideally want to do it in an L shape, so 1 column and behind the Vanguard, or 1 column and then the booster behind the other side, because you ideally want to leave yourself with 2 intercepts still, ideally. The reason I normally say the Vanguard booster is the one you bounce, because you're normally calling down a speaker off this, so obviously you'd then be restanding the other Vanguard side, so leaving that booster on the field is really beneficial, because you wouldn't have used it because you just want to go rearguard with it. But that is it for the list. I shall see you when we get into a game. So we are now back with the games. I will mention I have switched animations off for this one because I have actually been getting timeouts. So by moving my animations, I should have a less chance of actually decking out. And we do go against Neonectar. Okay, this one's going to be an interesting one. Jingle Flower is going to call light fume light. So obviously 1, 2, 3. We've got the ideal of everything. And spare grade 1. Get an extra stride fodder out of it, which is really good. Never mind, we're actually even better. We've got another stride fodder. So what I can actually do is use this grade 1 stride fodder to actually use a booster in this deck now. More than likely we'll start to try and find the Eternal Idol, because that is the last combo piece we are missing. But I'm going to keep the speaker in hand and actually ride the resist unit, because we don't need resist. Oh, it's Maiden Knobs, not Arsha. That's even more interesting. This is going to be the Infinite Legion stuff again. Never mind, we don't need to use the starter anymore now, so it's a free booster. As I try to drag up. Come on. Battle phase. And swing. Drive check, nothing. You see Gladiators go over there? Obviously, Maiden Knobs was the sub-archetype for Neonectars that did become a lot more prominent with that for them, because obviously Gladiolus and the new grade 2, grade 1 that he's used. Obviously, that grade 2 is now going to turn itself into double grade 1. We hit a defensive draw, which is really good, and it draws us into a PG. But it's a GB1 skill, so obviously it didn't get to go off this turn anyway. So, with our hand being how it is, I'm going to ride the pretty. Yeah. And pull one down. I want to go a bit aggro now. I need to push him damage early. We are going to have to take a turn of stalling on Legion, not Legion, Strides. Going to have to stay on the break guard for an extra turn, because I need to get GB1 active to get Speaker online. So I've actually got to... I'm enjoying his damage zone being 3 Gladiolus. That means we aren't going to get multi-attack spammed back. QC Rambling Arrows. Kill Soul Blast 2. Gets clone one of his... Gets to clone a rear guard. Obviously he gets 2 of the grade 1s, which is absolutely fine. He's then going to be striding. He is. This will be into there on hits. Yep, there it is. Arborea. He now gets to activate that, to tug back into set to grab the grade 2. But he's in the situation of he's got not much to work with as such. He clones that. He's out of grade 1s, I think. Or he's using it to actually turn it end of turn to get 2 more grade 1s out of it. So obviously that swings into this. I hit a defensive draw, which is really nice for us. Hits us into a counter charge, which isn't too great. But it's useful nonetheless. He does hit a heal, so he's going to get to heal and take out our rear guard. We are going to be pushed to 4. Equals another grade 2 from deck. That takes out our rear guard. I'm absolutely fine with all this because chooses not to activate its skill to return to deck. And we... Oh, the Yarmuk was a really good top deck. So I'm now going to stride into... I can click it. There we go. Somni. Guarding one of our Eternal Idols. Oh, Emil was a beautiful top deck today. We can call down Emil over here. Speaker down here. I call Yarmuk over here. And I'm going to call the Stride Fodder here. Not use it because I want to keep the draw in deck. And battle phase, swing rear guard and rear guard into rear guard and rear guard. We are preying on some form of luck though, because if he hits a trigger, I do lose my pushing him to 5 this time. First check's a heal, that's really good for us, knocks us back down to 3. We'll put it here so this can guarantee this side will then hit. Second check is another heal, so we jump all the way down to 2, which is really good. I might actually, instead of depending on what happened, yeah, so I bounce this and call speaker back down. This then goes to 24. This is then 14. I need a 12 in front of it, so I have to play risky and hope that he doesn't actually hit a trigger. If he doesn't hit a trigger, we do get to push him to 5. If he does hit a trigger, our turn ends. He doesn't multi... Well, no, because he will multi-attack still because of Primavera, so we're actually still in a very strong position. Use that to draw. We draw into a heal, which is fine. He doesn't hit a defensive, so we do get the joys of pushing him to 5. Which is PG. But then that puts us in a really strong position now. Let's call Flower Screen down, so he's going to just be Legion this turn. Turns a card, so that becomes probably the grade 1 or 2. See which one he picked. I've got to play the game of matching up numbers. Well, not so much numbers, matching up symbols. Doesn't actually say. Okay, that's interesting. But he's now using it to step spam. There we go. So we're actually not going to go to 4 this turn, so we are going to be stuck for an extra turn. Check nothing, second check nothing. So we are going to have to stall one more turn. Use that to return to deck to go 2 more grade 1s. Actually, that gives us the multi-attack we were looking for. Okay, so ride skip. Not striding. Utilise you. If you give me a grade 3, we're actually in a very strong position. Nope, no grade 3. Okay. So we're going to call you here. And then Soul Blast 2 to counter charge 2. Then call you here. Battle phase. Bring you first, because if we get a draw, I can utilise this to get the trigger effect instead. Nope, no trigger. Okay. Yep, we're going to have to do it like this. That's something to that. And that's something to that, but not. Take a heal out of his hand. Now we're guaranteed to be hitting our break rod next time. There is literally no doubts about it. I do need some stuff to actually hit a Vanguard with, rearguard with though, so we are still struggling as such. Especially now he's chucked a Jingle Flower in our face. What I'm actually going to have to do instead is utilise the Break Ride and Panlards to actually hit actual column restand. So is that more likely to become a clone of the grade 2? So as I said at the beginning, this is the play that we had to think around, which is massively big intercepts. Oh, there's 17k because he's got so many of them in play. At end of turn, though, the flower screen will stop being one, so that's not too much of an issue. He isn't going to be able to kill us for the fact of he doesn't run stands or crits. He is healing down to 4 though, so that is going to cause a slight issue. As he hits that and double... He's hitting all the triggers, so not much we can do about that. End of turn. And the rear guards dropped it down to 15Ks, which I can absolutely deal with. So, as we were talking about. Stride? Or break ride, sorry. Skill. Not striding. So, what we've got to do is... I've misplayed horrendously and lost the game. Okay. So, this will attack this now. Yeah, 13, which is not big enough. I've misplayed horrendously. I need a heal now to actually live. Nope, but we do get to force him down to 13. I don't now then hit. I should have stalled on Break Rod for an extra turn, personally. That's what I should have done. Yep, Z now gets to Break Ride. Not Break Ride, Re-Ride and then Re-Legion, return the grade 2 back to deck to then clone again. Yep, returns 2 heals, 2 grade 2s. If we somehow live, we can't win next turn anyway. If we heal, how actually no, thinking about it, if we heal, we might be able to somehow live due to the fact of yeah, we might still be in a good spot if we can hit. So his deck's majority heals in those grade 1s and grade 2s now. Yeah. Got 8 of his 9 draws out of his deck. So this is literally just a spamming you can't kill me deck. Oh, he didn't, because he didn't trigger, he's got no boosters. I live. So what I can now do is I can actually initiate 4 attacks. And leave myself with double intercept still. Yeah, we're actually in a really good solid position now. And that top deck might have just given us... I'm not going to stride actually. Because I can utilise better if I don't stride. Obviously we call this down here. Battle phase, swing you into you. You into you. Sap your hand of everything you've got. Bounce you. That's you. And grab speaker. There you are. Now I've got 1 healing left in deck as our only trigger. Because he's a 3 attack deck, because all his Gladiolus went to damage. There's 1 heal. Gonna give us something else to do with. Bounce you. And then we call you. Take another heal out of your hand. And we'll take some other stuff out of your hand. There's the PG. So obviously he's now 3 card hand. Got to re-ride. He's got to re-legion. He's in a very bad position at this point. He now can't do Rambling Rose like he'd want to do. Oh, sorry, I meant he can't do Jingle Flower like he'd want to do. Forced to do this for more intercepts. We've obviously got the ability to get 2 more attacks at his face because obviously Olivia. I can hit. Do I have a counter charge still left in deck, actually? Yes, I've got 2 left in deck, and I've got a soul 2. So if I can top deck into a counter charger. Oh no, because I can't, because obviously Speaker's about to die. No, I will only get 2 attacks at his face next turn, no matter what. So if he has 2 PGs, he wins, mate. It's judging from what we can see, he has got 2 PGs stuck in his hand/deck along with 2 heals. Ideally, if it's the heals in hand, we're in a very good position. Obviously, I can break the 26Ks very easily. Yep, so he'd start, he uses flash screen. Yep. Doing that skill, which he started flash screen to get Trigger out of deck, because he doesn't want out too much. Obviously, rear attacks rear attacks rear. We get to Perfect Guard, and because we've actually got one, we get to counter charge. He doesn't hit a heal. Really good for us. Obviously, then end of turn, spins that back, grabs 2 red ones out of deck. There's only going to be 1 game for this deck and fight, unfortunately, because it's taking forever. Alright, so what's our deck looking like before we go too far? I am out of speakers, so I can't multi-attack with that as easily. But I can use it to get an intercept, so if we hit... Right. We actually... Oh no, that was our first PG. Oh, so no, we have got to stride then. So we stride into School of Twilight Olivia. Charge you. I'm going to have to utilise... Draw into another intercept. We're in a really good position because I can then utilise Fancy to draw better. As we draw PG, that's fine anyway. So obviously, this here and this here. Battle phase. Bring this and this. And swing with Call of Twilight Olivia. Using its skill, bounce, bounce, bounce. Call 1. I have got to call 2, so I'm going to call the Stride Fodder back down again. So Quancy here, Stride Fodder here. Game plus DK. First check, nothing. Second check, PG. Third check, nothing. He has nothing, so we win the game finally. I shall see you guys in a minute. Right, and that was the game. Apologies that it was only 1 game instead of the usual 2. The game did drag out a fair chunk, and I didn't actually want to make the video too long. Otherwise, it drags on. People do, unfortunately. But it was a very good game. I got to show you. I say got to show you. I will show more likely show a clip of the break right turn going off in another game that I did record from like one of my live streams, because I had done a lot of play testing with this on streams. But I will show the break ride combo going off because it was a lot of fun. But unfortunately, not much I could do about it. I didn't properly plan for Jingle Flower as I should have done, otherwise I could have got the multi-attacks break rides and done stuff. But it is what it is, unfortunately. Overall, the deck's really fun. Jingle Flower, you do obviously need to plan more for, but that's just a one-off anomaly. There is still a lot of stuff you can do with this deck. 6-7 attacks. The break ride turn is good. But that's it. Gonna be it for this video. If you haven't done so already, please do like, comment, subscribe. It very much does help the channel. And I'll catch you guys next time. Bye bye.